The class is recorded. So we are looking at section 8, stored procedures and what we call triggers in SQL. So it's also another important aspect which you must know how to go through, just like we did on SQL view. So quickly, let's go to our SQL. Local instance. I'm going to provide my password. So the stored procedures, triggers, they are all concepts in SQL, just like SQL views, which we looked or pondered on during our last session. So these are all needed, when you are working on different scenarios. If we recall, the last scenario we looked at was on library. So imagine a scenario where you are working for that library and you want to manage your books using a database. For instance, remember when we did this select books from the library? We have a lot of books. So imagine you work for this library and you want to manage all the books using a database. Stored procedure comes to play also in such scenario. When you hear the word stored procedure, it's just talking about um, instructions. They are just instructions that you can use anytime you want to use them. For example, maybe if you look at here, we also have a table for borrowers. And each time it might be that it's part of your job function to explain or bring up all those who borrowed a book. So where you have such scenario, you can just create a stored procedure for borrow books, so that way it will help you each time you want to record who borrowed a book. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So when it comes to the world of database, stored procedure is just a set of instructions that you can save and reuse whenever you need to do a specific task in your database. It's just, for example, imagine you are a chef and you have a special kind of dish or meal you love to cook. Of course, to cook that meal, you need to write down all the steps for making that, preparing that meal on a note. Could be that on a book where you normally write down all the steps. Now, whenever you want to make or prepare that meal, you will go and open that book. Why? So that you can follow the instructions that you have jotted down on that book step by step for you to be able to create or prepare that very meal. That's what the stored procedure do for you. Just as the word store and procedure. Procedures are instructions that need to be followed. Now you have the instructions, you are now storing them, you are now saving them so that you can always reuse them. For example, again, let's say you have a database of customer information before you, and you often need to find all the customers, for example, who lives in, let's say, Nigeria, for example. That's where the organization is. And every time, as your work demands, you always see yourself coming across a tax which requires you to find all the customers that live in Abuja. Maybe it's a real estate company, you sell lands and anything, but you always work on looking for all the customers who live in a particular city, a particular state, a particular town. Instead of you coming here to write out the same SQL query every time, again and again, you can just create a stored procedure with the query instruction. Then whenever you want to find customers in a particular state, a particular city, a particular country or town, you simply run the stored procedure and it performs the task for you. That's why I said that the stored procedure is like a written set of instructions for a specific database task that you can use again and again, and it makes your work more efficient and consistent. Do we understand?
Yes.
So let us try one example. Are we there? Are we good to go?
Hello.
I'm with you. I don't know. Others, can others hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I said let us try
Yes, sir.
a
I
simple
can hear
example.
you also.
All right, all right. So let's try a simple example now. Based on this thought procedure, it's not difficult. So for example, let's assume every one of us here, we are working as a team and we operate an online store where we sell some kind of things there. And you have, of course, you should have a customer database to keep track of your customers. So imagine such scenario where you need to find all customers who have made a purchase in the last 30 days. You want to know customers that have made a purchase in the last 30 days. Instead of you coming, let's say today is 28th of October, you want to know for the last 30 days. You run a query to capture the last. Now we are now in next month. You now run another query. You don't have to be doing that. Instead of writing the same SQL query every time you want to um, do that, you just have to create a stored procedure for that task. This is how it will go. We don't have a customer database. Let's start by creating one for our online store. So I will start by saying create database. We'll call it online store. I'll call it Lagos online store. I'm going to execute this. Done. Refresh. For this online store, we have to come and say use Lagos online store. We have to switch to it. Good. Now let's create a customer table. I'll come down and say create table customers. Bracket open. We'll need the customer ID, which will be int data type. We'll make it our primary key, comma, the name of the customer. So we can just use, okay, let's just use first name voucher. Voucher, we can just say 120 for the string length. All right. So we also need their last name. So I'm just going to change this to last name. We'll need their email. So they will provide their email online store. I think the last time I purchased something on Jumia needed that. Then let's just enter purchase date. For something like purchase date now, such data entry we are going to use the data type called data type. So let's execute this table. So we now have a table for our online store. And go over after refreshing, you see it's customers table containing those columns, and see the different columns that are there. Now let us assume that on last month we got the following customers who made purchases. So it's your duty to come and insert into name of the table is customers table. So say insert into customers. What are the attributes or the fields? That's the columns. I'll now come here and say customer ID, comma, first name, comma, last name, comma, we have email, comma, and then we have purchase date. Bracket close. What are the data values? So we'll say values. We'll come down and start entering them. So the first one is number is going to be ID number 1, comma. So let me let someone into the class. Welcome, sir. Kano State. Good to have you here, sir. So let's say we have Tunde. That's his first name. His second name is Ade. So put it inside our quote. Single quote. Comma. His email address can say tundeade@gmail.com. Inside quote. Comma. Date he purchased this item. So let's say he purchased this item on the 15th of September. So your date should be in a quote. This is the month, September 15th. Bracket close, comma. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it. So for the second person, I will say 2. Then name, Eben Okoro. His email, eben@gmail.com. So let's say Eben purchased on the 5th of October. I'll change this to that. The next person, let's say, in our class we always do this. Let's say we have Uchechi Tami. So Tami will be Uchechi's surname. That's the last name, Tami or Dami. Okay, Tami. So her own is Tami Uchechi @gmail.com. Let's say her own purchase was done on the 20th of August. 20th of August. So let's take one more person. Should we stop? No, let me add one more. So let's say this person is Babatunde Damilare. and his own email is just babatunde dami lare at yahoo. Let's also patronize yahoo.com. And this man purchased his own on the 1st of October 2023. Since it's the last, I will stop with my semicolon. So this is all I'm going to do. I will then go up here after highlighting. I will use the first execute and execute it. You can see everything ran successfully. So if I refresh now, you can now come to your Lagos online store database. Scroll down to customers table, click on the map. It will extract that for you. You can see it here. So if there is anything you should have mastered in this training, is how to create database, master it perfectly, so that you can always do that without any stress at all. Without any stress at all. So it will really be for you that you can actually handle such tasks. Can we try to clear out the previous can you still hear me, Mrs. Vivian? Can you still hear me? Hello, who can hear me? Oh? Hello, anyone?
I can hear you.
Hi,
I can
I
hear you,
can
sir.
hear you.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is because sometimes in our classes, that's how I'll be talking. I won't know that you may not be following, so it's important for the feedback. Thank you very much. Now we have a simple record or data for this online store, and think about where your tax is to always find the recent customers, those who just made purchase, and you have thousands of record, those who just made purchase. What you are going to do is to come and create what we call a stored procedure to find recent customers. If you look at our curriculum, there are lists of different areas you need to be grounded on. We'll go back to it. We are taking it gradually. We're on introduction for you to understand stored procedure, what it can do for you. So what I will do here, I will come and create a stored procedure. How do we create it? I will come down and say delimiter /. I'll then come down and then say create procedure. What is the name of this procedure? It is going to be what you want to find or what your tax is all about. So create procedure, find recent customers. Bracket open, bracket close.
Hello, sir. I can't.
Can you hear me? Is there a challenge? Hello?
Hello, sir. The screen is back. I can't see before, but I can see now.
Okay, sir. So we are creating a procedure, a stored procedure to be able to find recent customers as more purchases are being done on the online store. So that you can be able to find who are the recent customers that just made purchase. So I said you need to create a stored procedure to find recent customers. What you will do, you say delimiter / create procedure. What is the name of the procedure? We call it find recent customers. You will now come down and begin. So we'll say, let it now do what? Begin storing this. So we'll say begin. You can see it here. Begin. The begin command. We'll then come down and then say select. I told you SQL is not case sensitive. So we'll say select. You can even this begin. So that someone will not say I went and copied it as it highlighted. I can change it to capital letter. It will give me what I want, because SQL is not case sensitive. So select from, see now I'm not using capital letter. What's the name of the table? Customers table. It must be unique. Of course, you don't even allow you create a table with the same name twice. So select from customers. That's the name of the table. Where purchase dates, we are looking at recent. We want to find recent customers. So where purchase dates, recent customers is going to be based on the purchase dates. Which one is recent? The recent date. Where purchase dates, I looking at operators, that we have different type of operators. Remember these symbols. Remember assignments, or recall when we use them. So create procedure, find recent customers. Begin, select from customers where purchase dates than or equal to, you put the dates, underscore, you choose this last one here, that's sub. I don't know, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, someone was calling me, so where purchase dates is equal to date sub, we want the recent. So I'm going to, inside the bracket, I'm going to put another bracket and then say now. Now, comma, we are looking at finding the recent customers. So let's say the recent customers we are looking at is 30 days. Hope we are following. Hello, Ma.
Yes, sir.
I want us to flow so that we can understand this well. Remember now,
Yes, sir.
we said you need to find all customers who have made purchase in the last 30 days. That becomes your the way you know recent customers in the company. So you still have to specify that 30 days on your query here. We need to come and say it is an interval. Now telling SQL take notes. This is an interval of what? 30 days. Then you put bracket close, semicolon. This bracket close we put is against this other bracket. That's a mistake some analysts normally do. There was a bracket here, so you must close this against that one. That's what you're going to do here. Then come down. Remember we use the begin command. So anything you begin must have an end. So you come here, say principle here in SQL2. So you come down, right end, your semicolon. Then come down also, when you start a delimiter, you have to also specify that. So I will say // I'll come down. I'll then say delimiter. Then my semicolon. That's what I'm going to do. And then I will execute. Let me execute this again. It's telling us error. So we need to check where. Okay. Now, each time you're working, you notice that one of your queries is always underlined red. Know that that's where the error is coming from. Even without going to the message. The message is saying our syntax there is error. So that's where the error is coming from. So to solve this very error now, I just give a space between the delimiter and the semicolon. It takes away that red. So let us execute it now. It says, create procedure, find recent customers already exist. That means that first time we did it, it was already exist. So what we have just done now is that we have just stored or created a stored procedure named find recent customers. So when you run this stored procedure, it will select and display all customers who made a purchase in the last 30 days, making it easier for you to find your recent customers without writing the SQL query from scratch every time. Do we understand? Hello?
Hi, sir.
Do we understand? Now that we have created a stored procedure, you are now asked to find recent customers. All you're going to do is to execute that stored procedure you have stored, you have created rather in SQL. How do you do that? I can come down or I go to a new query tab. I will say, because you must, now if you're going to a new query tab like this, you must make sure you are using the correct database. So I have to come here and say use, because this is a new day, let's imagine, and I want to find recent customers based on 30 days interval. I will make sure that I'm using the correct database. If not, it will not run. So I'll say use Lagos online store. I will run it. I will then come down. It executed successfully. And now each time you want to run your stored procedure, you use a command we call the call command. Are we following? The call command. Hello? The call command. Hope you're taking notes. So it's just like you want to browse something. Command works. Someone should join. Let me let the person in. You want to browse out the stored procedure you have created. You want to invoke. You want to execute that stored procedure. So that's why we say call command. What is the name of that procedure you created? Let's go to the name. The name was find recent customers. You see, from this place we start find to the bracket close. That's what you come and run here. You say call find recent customers. Bracket open, bracket close. Execute. So let's execute this. It says unknown column purchase date in where clause. Something is wrong in that column. So we need to check. It's like we did not spell it well. Remember what hello, can you all hear me? There is something you need to look at here. So that even when you have such similar challenge, you will not run like you will not be distracted. Can anyone still hear me? You can see here when we use time.
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sir. Now, when we executed this stored procedure, it did not bring up what we want to find, recent customers. Why? I now notice that it was executed unsuccessfully. I have to go to the message to read. It tells me unknown column, purchase date in where clause. Where is a conditional statement? I now have to go back here. I now notice in my stored procedure that I created, look at where we have purchase date, everyone. Where purchase date. If you look in, you will notice that the purchase date is not correct. P-U-R-O-H-C is omitted. That's why I said SQL don't joke with omission. The message from our outputs window is telling us unknown, not available. In Excel is not available, the error language it will bring, or not applicable, that n/a. But here it says unknown. Why? Because I told you SQL will go and read all of this line by line. It read it. It noticed here we don't have anything like this because see, it compares purchase dates we have in line 21 and purchase dates we have in that table. It found out that they are not spelled the same. That makes it unsuccessful automatically, disqualified. More like a disaster. So you have to come and run this again and put what? C over here. So let us go and execute this. It says procedure, find recent customers already exist based on the first syntax there. What have I done? Okay. So let us refresh. Let's see. So let us try it here again. It's still saying the same thing, that unknown column purchase date in where clause, because we already stored the first one with the wrong purchase date. So what we are going to do now, let us change the name from find recent customers. Let's remove S. So let's execute this one. All right, this one ran successfully. We have done it newly. So you can see it ran successfully because it read and noticed that all of the query were correct. So with this, let's now go and call that stored procedure we have created. So I'll come here. This one we did is find recent customer. So we removed S. So let's execute this with using the call command. And I told you, when you call a stored procedure, it instructs the database to run the sequence of SQL statements contained within the stored procedure. Watch. Can you see what happened now? Can you see what happened? It instructs this database to run the sequence. What is the sequence? The sequence is what we have done here already. The sequence in line 21, interval of 30 days. It instructs the database to run the sequence of this SQL statement contained within this stored procedure. In other words, what happened here is this. It is just like what I could call a way to trigger the execution of the predefined set of actions or queries that you yourself or I have already imputed within this stored procedure. So here we created a stored procedure to find recent customer. So don't forget, after you have created your stored procedure, Each time you want to run this procedure, all you need to do is to use the call command. The call command. If I go to a new script and I'm interested, the first thing any day, you don't need to even if you know how to update table now, is to use, we have updates. The table have been updated with new customers who made purchase, or they extracted an online store record and gave to you that they want to know you to do an analysis to show them their recent customers. Import it into your SQL. I've showed you how to import it. Once it has been imported, first thing, once it imports, it will go to a database. So you will have to create a database only. Don't create a table, just create database, then import that record of data that they give to you. Once it has been imported, you say use Lagos, for example, if that's the name. But before you do this, once the table has been imported, go and create stored procedure for that tax. Then start by switching to that particular database in stations where you have other database. So that's why I said I will come and say Lagos online store, semicolon, execute. I've switched to it, successfully run. I then have to come down and then call my stored procedure anytime, any day, whether night, morning, or noon, I can use it. And I said to find or to run that procedure you have stored, you use the call command. Call, find recent customers. Take note, the first one was wrong due to the purchase date was not spelled right. So this one we did not put S. When your own that you're practicing to be correct. I will now execute this. You saw how it was executed. That when it was done, it immediately tells this database called MySQL to execute the select statement within the find recent customer procedure, and the results are returned. So in summary, the call command is a way to execute the code contained, or the query contained within, these are the codes or the queries contained within a stored procedure where we begin and end. The code comes in between. That's line 20 is in between begin and end. Begin and end. So the call command executes that code for us or query for us, allowing us to perform specific actions or retrieve data as defined by the procedure we have stored. I hope we understand stored procedure now. Here below, it shows us recent customers based on the interval of 30 days. 1st of October, 5th of October. If you go to the customers table, you will see we have 15th of September. Between 15th of September and today, 28th of October, 30 days have gone now. Between 20th of August, 30 days have gone now. So you can see it's actually giving you accurate results. So practice Practice, practice. You practice it, you will love it. Some person, they are missing these interesting aspects. Yeah? Why are you coming late? You're missing stored procedure. So if your system is on, use some minutes, try to do it. Try to do it. So there are many things you can do with it. It's a good concept, even for professionals. Mm? For example, we can look at other scenarios. Let's say Mrs. Tessie, you're working for a large retail company, and this company has a large inventory of products that are constantly changing. Take note of my word, constantly changing. The product constantly changing. To keep track of those kind of products and manage that inventory well, you will be responsible. If the company is now using SQL, you'll be responsible for running various SQL commands for them. That one is easy now, since you'll be using various. Now imagine I am your manager, and one day I approach you telling you that I want you to create a kind of a standardized process that is secured for updating the prices of the products in our company's database, since you say you know how to use SQL. Now, remember that word I mentioned, constantly changing. I will bring it back again. Now, the company's product prices that you want to update for me or for the company often change could be due to several factors, could be due to promotions, could be due to discounts. When we are offering discount, the price will change. When we are doing promotion, it will change. It could be based on supplier reports to maybe supplier updates. Someone wants to join. Let me add the person. You know, just like I was told by a friend who is working in a hotel that the fried rice and all of that, they are changing the price. I asked him, he said because when they went to the market, they noticed that food items is now cost. So there's no way they will be buying a bag of rice at 60 something thousand. You then expect them to still sell at previous rates. That no, they have to also update their price. So that's why I said the company's product price often change due to promotions, discounts, or supplier updates. For you to perform these tasks as an analyst, that's where critical thinking comes in. You need to start to think about a better way to handle it. Power BI cannot do it for you. Now, many of you love Power BI. I'll give those of you problems. Then I'll ask you use Power BI to solve it for me. You cannot. Power BI cannot tackle them for you. Power BI is using visuals. Who have that time? Power BI is majorly for reports. Management will sit down. Oh yeah, present. Then they scroll as they click. The interactivity nature it has. The usage of DAX is just to do those calculations for you. Total this, that. Scenarios we are solving now is not related to that. You can look at a stored procedure we created called find recent customer. And as it is for an online store called Lagos Online Store, I'm working and my boss says I should tell him who are the recent customers based on an interval of 30 days. All I have to do is to create a new script, go over here and say what? Call find recent customer. Execute. It calls them for me. Why? Because I've already set up an instruction that the database engine recognizes, and it must be maintained even when this Lagos online store updates their record. It must be maintained. So as an analyst, coming into different scenarios, we will tackle this scenario now. I wanted to give as a project, we'll tackle it, we'll round up with it. This scenario that is here, I will explain all these ones quickly. I'll tell you where they come in. This scenario that has to do it, we'll use 15 minutes. This air cargo analysis. Then I'll now give you a project to work on. Let's see those who are following. Now, as an analyst, when you are faced with such scenario, you then have to think, what better way can I handle it? You will now remember that one time in Miramar training, you were told of something called stored procedure in SQL. You now remember that a stored procedure is like a predefined set of SQL instructions that can be executed with a single command. This is a single command using what we call the call command. It's a single command. In softwares, we call them defined fields. We call them custom tools, custom features, and all that. You apply it to a specific job. So instead of writing all those SQL commands from scratch each time, you will just create this stored procedure with all the necessary steps. That's what we did over here. Necessary steps. Come down here with all the necessary steps. And I told you begin to end. That's where the query and the code is, which we stored. Interval of 30 days in this scenario we are looking at. You give it a name. If we are looking at that product prices, you can call your own product price. And then you define the specific SQL commands you need to perform that task. This was the one we need. So you must define your own. Well documented, that anyone in the company can follow to update product price. With this, now anyone in the company, I just need to tell someone, anytime you want to find recent customer, don't even stress yourself. Just open your SQL, open a new script, write call find recent customer. I've already programmed it. Execute, it will bring them out for you. Ensuring consistency to also reduce the chance of error for you. So that's how it works. To simplify complex tasks for you. So let us.
Hello.
I'm with you, sir.
Hello.
I'm with you.
Okay. I want to know. You said that when you use the call command, you bring out the recent customers. So does it mean that you need to be updating it frequently, or maybe once a new customer come in, the thing will automatically store it?
Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
Can you come again? I didn't get you. Someone wants to join. Just give me a minute. A minute. Let me add this person. You know, when someone wants to join, the thing is echoing on my end. Let me allow. That's Roots. Okay. Hi, Roots. Welcome.
Can I go on?
Yes, sir. Flow.
What I was saying is that we use the call command to retrieve the store procedure. Also, yes, the call.
Questions in this class. Can see what Mr. Adam is doing now. Okay, go on, sir. It's recorded now.
Okay, what I was saying is that you are using the call command for the store procedure.
Yes.
So assuming you want to get a new customer, sorry, the recent customers,
Okay.
is it automatic? Is it automatic that the customers you have, the new customers, will constantly be updated automatically, or you must go to the database and input their information before they will be stored?
If the customer will automatically be imputed.
Yes, or you go there and input them manually, which is the recent customers.
Okay, like to go and impute them manually. Can you hear me, sir? Hello?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. Now, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Now, when you're using the call command, it does not automatically impute new data into the database. Do you get? What it just means is that you are executing those set of instructions to perform the actions in the database. If you want to add new customers to the database using using, let's say, a stored procedure, you can also do that. You just have to provide the necessary data as parameters when calling the procedure. Then the stored procedure will process those data and insert them into the database. Do you understand? So
Yes.
I understand the fact that you're asking if you go and update it. Yes, that's on one part. That's on one part. That's part of data entry. As you're working today, they gave you a new record. All this one just purchase. You will use the updates command and update your list. You understand? You update those records. For some companies, this will be integrated. You don't even need to update it. As they are selling from the search engine, everything will be uploading. Do you understand? In that case, it
Yes.
makes your work even easier. Your own duty is just to retrieve the data. That's because this is a database system which has all advanced features. Unlike Excel, I don't call Excel a database system because Excel does not fulfill the requirement of a database system. Do you understand? Even Power BI, they don't fulfill it. They don't have advanced features that you need. For instance, here a particular system is having limitation, Excel 1 million plus. This other one cannot and columns 14,000 plus. It doesn't fulfill it. There are things it lacks. Do you get, sir? Now,
Yes.
if you want to add new customers to the database, please can you mute yourself, sir?
Okay.
If you want to add new customers to the database, you can do that. For example, too, let's say you have a stored procedure called add new customers. Don't you think this will help you? It will help you because all you need to do next time, you will just need to call it and provide the customer's information. Those are the parameters. Those information are the parameters. The name of the customer, the this, when you want to execute that procedure. And the stored procedure, we then use those parameters to insert a new customer record into that database for you. Do you understand, sir? So what I'm trying to say is that if you want them to help you, you have to ensure that those inputs are made because they don't automatically insert new data without receiving the input from you, from the caller. You're the caller.
Good evening, sir.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, okay. From the little I got just now that I joined. So the stored procedure is used to, like, you can use it how will I put it? To create what you want to be using, like this update that you talked about now. You can use it to create something that we can say, okay, if we want to update, we'll call for that instead of going through other procedures, right?
Oh, you kill it.
And if we want to maybe check top 10 customers, we can create something for that also as stored
You
procedure.
killed it again.
Okay. Okay. Voila. I have to learn that, but I was not in the section. I have
You
to go and watch
missed.
the video.
You missed.
The thing is, SQL, I don't know why. I I just gave up at one point,
No, now you
but I will come
to
back.
end.
I'll come back for it. If I'm trying to learn something and it's catching my brain, I'll just take a break and I'll come back. I'll come back for it. I'll have to start from beginning. All the videos just help us pile it up very well. I have to start watching them one by one to get everything.
So okay, no problem. So now, Sadan, are you still here? Sadan asked a good question too. So Sadan, you can even create, like I told you, you can create a stored procedure to add.
Okay.
Yes. So let's try that one. I wanted to leave it as assignment, but people will shout. So let's do it. I will say what we are going to do. Let's clear this one now. So let's write a new one. Delimiter slash slash. We come down. Create procedure. Create procedure. We want to call it what? Add new customer. Bracket open. Now, you now come and specify all the different columns that are in that customer table where you want to impute new customer. Customer ID, first name, last name, email, purchase date. So I will come here now and come and put them. So what we do, we'll say in new customer ID. The data type, you specify it int. You come down again in new. This is because we are creating it to take notes. So that it does not mean you do it again and again next time. It's just to create it first. Next time you will not do all these things. In new first name, exactly how the column was spelled. So we avoid that first error that time we got. Voucher. We used, was it not, what did we use before? Was it not 120? Yes, we used 120. So let me even copy it from here since we have not cleared it. Copy. So don't waste time. So all we are going to add is just in. Since this is a new one, so say in new. So I want to copy this in and new. In new first name. In new last name. In new email. And in new purchase date. So then come down, bracket close. Remember, we have not yet specified the codes the query we want to run. So I will now come here and say begin. So I will now say begin. Insert into, it's not case sensitive. What's the name of the table? Customers. Make sure it's spelled correctly. That table contains customer ID, comma, first name, comma, last name, comma, email, comma, purchase date, bracket close. The values the values now will now come down and then enter the values. So we'll say, okay, let's just say values. Let's just say values. I don't know, hope we are following. So values. Now, this is stored procedure, so don't put the content yet. Still continue. What you will put now is all those new things here we did. I'll now copy it, come and put it here. In short, just copy this one here. Good. Paste it here. Those are the values. So we'll now use okay, just use new. So these values will be any new customer ID we want, any new first name, any new last name, any new email, any new purchase date. Mrs. Tessie, can you hear me, ma?
Yeah, me too.
Can Power BI impute new data into an
No.
okay. Bracket close.
Yes, so to an extent.
It can impute.
Yes.
Okay, and talk now. I'm just asking. Some things I was asking you is not in.
Yes, it can impute. I did something on that and it imputed, yes. But it was still with the file though. The data's in it. So just like creating another column and solving a problem on it. That's
Okay. What did you use to create the column? Was it Power Query or?
yes.
Okay. Power Query is not Power BI now. Excel also has
Eh,
Power Query.
we are using it in Power BI now.
Yes. So we say end, then we say delimiter. So this was the area you missed. It's the same thing we are doing again. Then give a space. When you're creating procedure, you give a space before the semicolon. Not like the other ones we have been executing together. And I also said when you're executing, you are right and you notice anywhere underline red, know that that will not run. There's an error there. If you go close to it, it's telling us it's not valid at this position. So this is how your stored procedure syntax should always be. So once this is done, I will then come and execute. So let's execute this. It says what? You have an error in your SQL syntax. So let us check. Where do we have an error?
There is an error tag in that new first name customer ID. I don't know why is it there.
Okay, sorry. I haven't seen the error too. Primary key is not supposed to be here. You can see the primary that is underlined red.
Yes.
So let's take away primary key. But we're not creating a new table. So we don't need that. It's because I copied and pasted. So let us execute this again.
Can we use auto increments there?
We have already created the table, man. So we don't need it. Those auto
Oh,
increments would have been done when we were building that table, creating that table. This one now we are creating a stored procedure that will help us add new customer each time we want to add it. Do you understand? So it has been executed. So each time
okay.
Mr. Dan wants to add a new customer, You will just be using add new customer. It will add it. So in this
I'm hearing a new word though.
in this third
Auto increment.
in this auto increment is just like serial number 1 2, so that it will populate itself for you instead of you and
Okay.
like in this place here now where we're having 1 2. If I've done auto
Yeah.
increment, I don't need to put 1 2 again. Automatically
Okay.
know that the first person is 1, second person is your 2. Is it not so? Roots. I don't know. Is it
Yes,
not
sir.
so? You all
Yes,
are
sir.
now teachers now.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
this have ran. So this add new customer in line 2 is the name of the procedure. The procedure now expects 5 inputs that I was talking about, which we call parameters. The new customer ID you always bring, the new first name, last name, new email, new purchase date, which represents the new customer's information. It will then insert into the customer table to insert the provided data, assuming that this is the name, of course, is customers. It will do that for you. All you now have to do, since it has been executed, is to call this third procedure by providing the values for these parameters. Are we following? Do we understand?
Yes,
Now,
let's practicalize it.
good. Practicalizing this, I'll just calm down. We're already using Lagos Online Store. Call, add the name of the procedure. Call, add new customer. Bracket open. ID number what? Let's say this new one is ID number 5, comma. His name is, we'll give a space. His name is Maxwell. That's his first name. A quote. It's raining heavily here now. Let's just finish this. His second name is, that's his last name is,
You have to put a comma, sir.
comma, thank you. His last name is David. Quote, comma. His email is Maxwell David at yahoo.com. Quotes. That does not end in the parameter. We also have new purchase dates. So new purchase dates 2023. Let's say today, he purchased today, 28th of October 2023. 28th of October. Bracket close. Semicolon. So this is what will be executed. This is how you execute if you have a new customer that made purchase. So we'll call this, and this will insert this new customer with the information into that table. So let us do that now. It executed, is that not?
Yes.
Remember the table we have before. Did you execute it? No. Mark said, okay, there's a place we did it. If we even, okay, I'm coming. This is it we did here. Call add new this. Now it's executed. Let's go to that table and extract that table, customers table. Is Maxwell added? Yes or no?
Yes, it has it.
It's added Maxwell, right?
Okay, please, I have a question. Yes.
I'm coming.
I
If
have
we
it.
also go and run the former one for call find recent customer, we just need to come and refresh. We just need to refresh. Or what we can do on this one here, you can call it again. Maxwell should be joined, should be added too, because his own is recent. You can see it. You can ask your question now.
Yes, sir. Now, if we import a table into Excel, we are not creating a table, right? We
Yes.
import the
If you're
table.
importing a table
Can we
into
just,
Excel, first of all, create a
yeah,
database before you import it.
yes, yes, and we can start working on this stored command on that table, right?
Perfect. See what we will do. As you just import the table into the database, look at what kind of tasks will you be asked to always do. Go and create stored procedure for all of them. It's just like this Lagos online store. It's your duty to update the price. It's your duty to add new customers. It's your duty to find recent customers. Maybe we also have what they bought. It's your duty to update the items. It's your duty to run analysis for which customers bought these products. Do you understand? Which customers bought products? Milk. Which customers bought shoes? Which customers bought? Create stored procedure for all of them. So that when you are asked how many customers have bought shoe, you just go and put call how many customers bought shoe. It brings it out for you. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, sir.
It
And I
brings
have
it out for
another
you.
question.
All right, bring questions.
This when you were imputing the customer details, you included the customer ID. What if we are working with large data that we don't even know where it ends? How am I going to know the next ID to put? Maybe like thousands of data.
Okay,
Must we include the customer ID?
okay, like you're talking about this one we did here that we entered.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now for that one now, that's why she talked about auto increments to do it automatically for you. So if you're the one preparing that, what do we call it? Of course. Okay, let me look at another scenario. Let's say you are the one that created it, scenario one. When you're creating a table, use auto increment so that it will automatically put it for you. Then you don't have to struggle on that. That's on one side. Now someone sends you a data set to analyze and it's up to 300,000. To know where the last one stopped, you can use the count command to do that. It will count and tell you the last ID. Just to count customer ID for you to tell you. Do you understand? Before you now start
Okay.
imputing, you will know where the last one ended. Just like that. You can even create
Okay.
procedure for customers ID. You get.
Okay.
Mhm. And
Okay.
Sadan, you can see that we also created another stored procedure here to call this. The good thing about this, even if you go to a new open a new script, go there. All you need to do, always specify use Lagos, name of the database, use Lagos online store. Run that. Execute that one first here. Make sure it is being used. Then this will be number 6. This will be Emma. This will be Alex. Then here we can say Emma for you at Gmail. Now this is just like this is just like I am working in a call center, maybe somewhere like Glow or MTN, and each time a new customer, maybe somebody will walk in. Hello ma'am, I want to register for this. Okay, you can just do it here. Do you get? As a person number 10, or you have given them number, they come, okay, what number are you? 10. You change here to, what number are you? 6. What's your name? Emma. You put first name. What's your last name? Alex. What's your email? emma4you@gmail.com. Okay, you're registering. Where did you purchase or what did you enroll? It says so date. Maybe enrolled on the 20th of October. You put it, you execute, you come, and then you execute this. It has added it to your database. How do you know that it has added it? You can go and select, use the select statement to say select from Lagos online store object browser dot customers. Execute. You will see that David, what's that his name? Analyst have been added. Look at Analyst here. It has been added. So stored procedure makes your work easier. I don't know if you can still hear me. This 11. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
It makes it easier. If you go to the former one, send customer now, and we're executing this. Alex Emma will be added now because it's a recent customer based on 30 days interval of 1 month. That any customer based on 1 month is a recent customer. We have them here. So it's not left for you to go and figure out different scenarios you want to build. Time will not allow us to look at that project we wanted to look at. That has to do with air cargo analysis. I will send it as a project assignment. You're going to do an air cargo using
Sorry to
even this
interrupt.
thought procedure. Yeah?
Please let's solve it together now instead of assignments.
There's no time now.
I know I
SQL
came in.
ends today.
I
I
know
want
I
to
came in
explain.
late, so
I want to explain these other things now in 5 minutes, so everybody can go and rest. These other
okay.
things we have here. We already added. Now nobody asked me some questions. So why did you use the limiter? Why did we use this? Nobody asked me. So that tomorrow now, nobody asked me all these things now. It's okay. So you will work on those things that we have there, please. You work on it. So you have seen the advantages. When we talk about advantages of stored procedure over here, I believe you have seen the advantages of stored procedures. It saves time. Yes, the time I would have used to be running around writing queries, it saves it for me here with the add new customer. It ensures consistency. You don't have to rewrite instructions each time. Just follow the procedure. That's what we call it, stored procedure. Just follow it. Like that example I gave. Imagine you're a chef, you want to cook fried rice. You have a jotter where you've jotted down the steps to follow. And each time you want to cook that fried rice, where do you go to? Since you have not mastered it, you go and open that jotter to follow the steps. That's what you're doing here. You're opening this add new customer is the procedure, the jotter. You're now opening it to follow that procedure, those steps. You understand? So when we talk about working with stored procedure, I think it's also here the B, working with stored procedures. It's just all about you following the steps. You using those procedures you have stored, simply following those steps that it has provided for you. Example, what we have done. When a customer make a new purchase, you follow the find recent customer procedure with the predefined steps. Makes it easier for you to work. Now we have what we call compound statements. They are just like combination of steps. I think this class have to continue. Yes. Because if I explain that one now like this and say go and do it cause problem. Combination, they are not combining procedures. You're grouping this add new and also grouping recent. Grouping several steps together. You're grouping step like adding a new customer and finding recent customers. We call that a compound statement. Are we together? Hello? That's what we refer to as compound statements.
Yeah.
Then conditional statements. Conditional statements. Example, all those if statements when you work with assignments. So for conditional statements, you want to check conditions before you proceeds. For example, now, let's assume in this database, which you always find recent customers. Now, you might use a conditional statement in your stored procedure that we did before. Or let's say, remember we did a new procedure for add new customer. Now let's assume that before a new customer must be added, there is a condition. That customer must meet a particular condition. For instance, maybe the organization states that the customer must be above 18 years. That's a conditional statement coming in, because you now have to use a conditional statement first in this stored procedure that we did. Here's that stored procedure we did. In this stored procedure that we did to add customers, that means I have to use a conditional statement inside this procedure to ensure that a customer meets that age condition before the customer is being allowed to be added into the database. Do we understand? That's where conditional statement comes in when you're working with stored procedure. Then we also have loops in stored procedures. Anytime you hear the word loops in analysis, it's just talking about repetition. It's just like repeating steps until that previous condition is met. Most times you need to repeat. For example, fried rice you want to cook. Maybe for it to taste well, you have passed a step that said add Maggi, but you have tasted it. You have not met the condition is it must taste very sweet. You have passed the step, you added Maggi, but you have not still met that condition. You need to repeat that step again. That's what we mean by loops in stored procedures. Repeating steps in your procedure until the condition is met. Do we understand? So it's just like in this example we did now. Even if, in this example we did now, you can also use it. To check if the customer meets that condition. So that's how loops in stored procedures works. When we talk about terminating stored procedures and loops, you know what the word terminate means. Termination is just like saying we are done. You're done. You've finished the process and you want to close. That's what it means. So each time you've updated that customer record, termination follows. Hope we understand. When we talk about error handling in stored procedure, error handling is like having a backup plan in case things don't go as you expect. You're baking cake, things did not go as you expect. What backup plan do you have? You're working with data here and things don't go as you expect. What backup plan do you have? That's what error handling means. Even in your stored procedure, you need a backup plan. In the example we looked at, the illustration rather, the scenario, you might use error handling. For example, you can use error handling even in the customer we added. Remember the customer's stored procedure. We can use error handling to address situations where a customer was already added before checking if he or she meets the age requirement. You've already added. Maybe there was another column for age and we've already added Maxwell David. Not without confirming first if Maxwell David meets that age requirement. Error handling comes to play. The backup plan. The air cargo analysis, you apply all these things. Cursors in stored procedure. Hello, can you all still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cursors in
Yes,
stored
sir.
procedure. Cursors are just like reading through a list. You want to bake cake, you have your jotter you've jot down, you're now reading through it, through that procedures you've stated on your jotter. That's what cursors are like. You're going through a set of records one by one. That's what cursors are. It's just like me coming to this data set, this database here, and I'm going through each line here. Those are cursors. That's what we mean by cursors in stored procedure. For instance, we now have the stored procedure we have called out. I'm now going through it. This is a cursor. That's what I'm doing. I'm going through it to check if this I've called out actually meets the condition that it must be recent customer, 30 days interval. So we use a cursor like this to go through the list of customers information or anything and identify those if they this is in line with what we are working on. Then the issue of stored functions in stored procedure. Now, you agree with me. If, for example, you're baking cake, for instance, so you're baking cake, you know that there are some steps in that cake you're baking that have other steps in it. For instance, okay, I don't know much about cake, but I know that they used to mix the flour. I don't know if they used to mix the flour. So, if in baking cake you have jotted down step 1, get all those things and keep. Step 2, make and bake. Step 2, mix the cake and mix the flour. Now, mixing the flour, not everybody will know how to mix flour. So maybe you are not providing a sub procedure or instruction on how to mix the flour. Maybe when you're mixing the flour, shake it, that's sub 1. Number 2, shake it 10 times, that's sub 1. 2, then add water and shake it again, that's sub 3. 4, shake it again, just like that. Are we following? It could be anything. Maybe is and they want to put egg. You say, okay, the egg must be done this way. Those are now like sub instructions coming into play inside the main instruction. So that's what we mean by this word, stored functions in stored procedures. Meaning that even in your stored procedure, there is an advanced level you will get to that you will need to create stored functions inside it. So stored functions are like mini functions inside your main procedure. Do we understand? For instance, let's assume that in this data set we have here, we are told that those who did not meet, let's say those who did not purchase within the 30 days interval, the price at which they will purchase will be high. And you now want to calculate the late price procedure. The stored function you will use to be able to also include that into this procedure. They did not buy within interval of 30 days. They will now buy at this price. You have to create a late price procedure. So you will use what we call a stored function to calculate that late price for those customers who did not purchase within an interval of 30 days. Stored functions in stored procedures. When we talk about stored programs security, we know what security is all about. That's data security is very important. Security is like locking or closing that your jotter. Of course, you need to do that as an analyst. Those stored procedures we have done, you need to close it, you need to lock it so that no one can access it. You don't know someone can use it. You can close it and lock it